Warning: Painkiller Hell Wars is rated M for mature by the ESRB and contains graphic scenes of intense gore and violence. Viewer discretion is advised. What's up, guys? Welcome to Let's Play Painkiller Hell Wars! So I have a lot of explaining to do as far as this LP is concerned because I recently just picked up a original Xbox, and that's going to be a whole nother video in itself explaining my reasons for that. But of all the games I gotten for it, I mainly just got FPS games that I wanted to LP that were not backwards compatible on the 360, and this is the main one, and it was extremely cheap. It was like $4, but it was incredibly worth it because it was the first game I popped in, and immediately I just fell completely in love with it. This game is awesome, and I've jumped right into the action here because this is going to be another LP where cutscenes are going to be superfluous and they're going to be skipped as a result. The story is not important, nobody cares about it, and it's not very well done anyway. So the cutscenes actually graphically look pretty good in this game. That being said, I'm gonna still cut them all out. But so this game is just awesome. It's a very old school style FPS game, very much like, you know, the old Quake or Unreal games, and it's made by People Can Fly, who would later go on to make Bulletstorm and Here's Judgment. So, but more on them when we actually get around to LPing Bulletstorm, which will be pretty soon here. So we start out here. The objective is basically to kill demons and collect their souls, and it has something to do with getting back our lost love if we do that. And that's essentially the plot in a nutshell. But the first weapon we have here is actually called the Painkiller, and it's basically a spinning saw blade of death that also launches its spearhead out, and it can be retracted back in. And so we have to fight all these crazy armored knight skeletons and zombies and demons and all kinds of other awesome stuff, and it has a kick-ass soundtrack just like Quake 2 did. I like this game for a lot of the same reasons why I like Quake 2, in fact, although I still think Quake 2 is a slightly better game, because this game is a bit of a redundant design as far as the levels go. Basically, your only objective is to kill every enemy and then move on to the next area, and that's about it. It's like killing areas unlocks the next area with enemies in it, and so on. I'm sure you can pick that up, but for some reason the game wasn't letting me pick it up. It's just a treasure to add. The coins that you find in some of these breakables only, I think they just give you points or whatever to add towards your final score at the end of the level. I'm pretty sure that's all they do. There's no like ability to buy things in this game, so I'm not really sure what the coin is for. But we have the standard health and armor setup of all the old FPS games have. By killing enemies, they drop these green clouds of energy that are that's their soul, and so that'll count up our soul meter up there. There's one that shows how many kills we get and then how many actual souls we collect from it, and then we have our compass there, which basically just shows us where the enemies are. And then once all the enemies are defeated, we unlock the next checkpoint and we move on. It's pretty simple design, but it's just so much fun. And I'm going to be playing on Nightmare mode, which is the hard difficulty, or at least for a little while. I haven't actually test played this game all that much, so it might look like I have no idea what I'm doing here, but that's probably because I don't. So those little portals act as loading screens, and I'm going to be editing those out as well as we go. The other weapon we picked up here is an awesome double-barrel shotgun, which, as we all know, I love double-barrel shotguns, so it's also another instant win for this game. Like, I didn't have any expectations for it, and as soon as I put it, I'm like, alright, I freaking love this game. This is immediately going to be an LP. This game is not actually, it's an original engine. It's not based off of any of the other, it's not based off of the Unreal Engine or the id Tech engines. It's its own thing, which is pretty remarkable all things considered, but it is a little bit glitchy. We'll get into that later. But the physics are really nice. There's a lot of breakables and a lot of moving objects that sort of just float about the environment as you collide with them. And the bodies exploding like this is definitely a spectacular effect. And just all the ragdolls from all the interactive moving parts. And the graphics are pretty good too. I was honestly kind of let down with a lot of the graphics on a lot of the original Xbox games I got, because I was used to stuff like Halo 2 and Doom 3, which had amazing graphics. But now this is pretty satisfactory as well in that department. Another thing, if you barrels in this game, they just look like regular, ordinary, like wooden, like keg barrels. They are exploding barrels. There's no indication of it whatsoever. They're just regular barrels, but they explode. I actually think that's quite funny because it's like you know, every FPS game has to have the exploding barrel, so we might as well just make it a regular-ass barrel. What is happening here is after you get so many souls, like I think it's 66 on one difficulty, and I think it's 33 on the other difficulty, or the half the difficulties, I think. I'm not sure how many it was there, but we go into this like special superpower mode that allows us to blast any and every enemy in our sight out of the way, and it only lasts for a certain amount of time. I'm not sure what the mode is called, but I'll look it up when I get the chance. So the Painkiller runs on unlimited ammo, and it's honestly not bad. It's still pretty good at chopping up a lot of these enemies. A lot of the enemies in this game, they just kind of lumber towards you, and they have a lot of, you know, slow melee attacks, but they come in very large groups. It's not until the second level where we start to see enemies that actually use guns. But yeah, this game is just awesome. I really do love it. I kind of prefer it's a lot easier when you're fighting the slow enemies that come in the swarms and have the range attacks. Look at this guy spinning around without his head. And the enemy designs are pretty creative in this game as well as the weapon designs, but we'll get into that as we go on. We've already been impressed by the weapons. We have a spinning blade of death, and we have a double-barrel shotgun. I think we're already content with the weapons in this game. But we won't be strictly fighting demons the entire game. These type of enemies would get old pretty fast, honestly, but we're going to fight a very broad range of enemies as the game goes on. But the main reason why I wanted to record this game when I did is not a whole lot of people know about this game. This is a very underappreciated FPS game, and what I think is a classic. I think it's a great game, and it had Xbox Live, and I really wish I would have gotten it when Xbox Live existed for the original Xbox, because it really would be a fantastic co-op game. And if you watch people play the PC version of the original Painkiller on co-op, again, you see that shine through really well. It's a great co-op game. But the main thing is a new version of Painkiller came out last year called Painkiller Hell and Damnation, and it's an updated graphics version of the original with some new stuff added as well. So it's basically a whole new game. Ah, it's so dark. I don't know what enemy ability is doing that, but it's one of the enemies here that's doing that. And there's gonna be a console release. Now you guys know I don't record PC, which I would if I could, but I can't, so I won't. Unfortunately. So I wish I could, but I record strictly console. So if I have a game that, you know, is otherwise popular on a PC but has a very underrated console port, I'm still gonna refer to the console port as its own thing, that it's an underrated game. And of course, the gameplay is not gonna look as stylish and everything as it would on the PC, and the graphics are not going to be as good. But that's just how I like to record. That's my setup. I strictly do consoles, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that personally, because that's just my thing. There's enough people to record on PC as it is to where that can be your alternative if you wish. The coffins in this environment also break as well. There's coffins right over here, and they drop coins a lot. Anyways, the new version of Painkiller coming out, called Hell and Damnation, is getting a console release in about a month or so I'm definitely going to pick that up when it comes out. And I might record that version too if there's enough that's different from this version. But I don't expect that game to sell well. I don't expect it to be popular. I don't even really expect it to be reviewed all that well, even though the PC version was reviewed pretty well. But it's just a fun game, and it's a game right up my alley, even though it's definitely not a very modern game. It's definitely not, it probably will feel very dated, the new one will. But to me, that's a desirable feature of the new one to me. I can't wait to play it. So, yeah, you get the general gist of how these levels are designed, where it's like, you basically clear all the enemies and you unlock the new area, and you teleport around. You teleport a lot in these first two levels. Luckily, those teleports are a lot more scarce as it goes on. And if I let the actual teleportation sequence play and didn't edit it out, you'd see it's very similar to when you go through the teleporters in Doom 3. We have a secondary fire on the double-barrel shotgun, which is a ice attack that freezes enemies. Let me see if I can go into the super mode again. Yeah, it's 33 souls. Unlock that for me. Playing on Nightmare mode. Maybe it's only in the new one where it's 66. I'm not sure. But as you can see, the thing I'm going to be doing a lot here, and let me guys, let me know if this gets on your nerves, but I just think it's the most fun thing ever is the bunny hopping and strafe jumping. I think that is just absolutely great in this game. That's one of the things that latched onto it the most for me was as soon as I jumped and I saw how much momentum I gained, I was like, yeah, this game is for me. I love this game already. That just sold me on it. And just like really easy, just effortless bunny hopping on a console game is just great to me. Because like even I tried it in Quake 2 and Quake 4, it was hard. It was not as easy to do on the console version. You really have to have that keyboard to be able to do it correctly on the PC version. It's so much easier on the PC version. But here on this game, it's easy, and even the console version here. I'm going to turn up the brightness because this game is really dark. Wow, apparently the game knows it's really dark too, because that's a broad range of brightness I can adjust there. I'd hate to see what it looks like maxed out. Okay, that's a lot better. Let me know if you guys don't like it that bright, but I think it's necessary because it's been pretty dark thus far. I mean, most levels are not as dark as that one, but I'd hate to not be able to see what I'm doing. So we got like a little mini boss right here, and he's apparently immune to the ice attack, so we're just gonna have to battle him with a fight of attrition here and just wither him down slowly with the shotgun. All these other guys are weak to the ice though, but it's kind of pointless because most of them die in 1 or 2 short-range blasts anyway, so there's not really much point in those guys dying to crows apparently. There's not really much point in attempting to freeze them especially when you have such scarce ammo for it. And that is the end of the first level, ladies and gentlemen. We get a score and a sort of review at the end. We see how many kills we got, how many souls we got. We can get a bonus that we can use at the beginning of every level, or one level, I guess. It's a consumable thing. It's a tarot card that we unlock for completing the special secondary objective in every level. So that's pretty cool. We got the one easily for that level because it's a pretty easy level. On to the second level. I love the music in this level, I really do, and in this game in general. But how the mission structure is set up in this game is you basically have 5 missions, and then you have 5 stages within each mission. So you have to. It's very, very old school in that sense. You can see it as like a little sort of pentagram thing there, where you see the levels on that wheel there, and you get to select them that way. You get to go backtrack to old levels with your new weapons too, which is pretty nice, but you don't get any ammo for them if there's no ammo for them in that level, so that's how they keep it fair, I guess. Now, if you're playing this on Nightmare mode, the the third stage in level 1 will be unlocked, but if you are playing on a lower difficulty, it will remain locked. It's like a harder level you only unlock on this difficulty, I guess. I'm not sure why the game does that, but I guess it makes it a little bit shorter if you're trying to play it on the easier difficulties. Another thing that makes this game feel great and feels like it's a pretty good port from the PC version is that it doesn't have any aim assist. When you aim the shotgun, it's aiming exactly where you point it. It's not going to veer off, or it's not going to home in on an enemy or anything like that. So if you miss, it's purely on you. There's no game mechanic that's going to help you hit anything. It's purely up to your aiming ability. But luckily, the controls are so great, you don't have to really worry about that. Now this is the one glitchy thing that just baffles me in this game. I don't know if there's an enemy ability that does this, or if it's just what type of enemy these are. But I've seen them drop dead completely arbitrarily for no reason many times, and it's like, it just baffles me. I don't know why they just drop dead when I just look at them. And there's one that did it just a second ago. But here's another area with tons and tons of those exploding barrels. So you want to be very careful, especially if you're playing on this difficulty or the ultimate difficulty, which you don't unlock until the end of the game when you beat it. Those barrels will probably kill you in one hit, or just over one hit at close range. They're pretty powerful, so you got to be careful about that. But you can, because these enemies will sort of follow you to hit you with their melee attacks, you can kind of lure them into the explosions, which is a pretty nice thing to do. Let's go ahead and use that superpower thing again. Now with me, it's like whenever I unlock it, I have to feel like I gotta haul ass to the next area to kill as many enemies as possible while it lasts. I guess I don't keep it when I go through the teleporter. That's kind of lame. That was kind of a waste of it then. But I don't like to waste it if I can help it, and I guess if you really wanted to be really strategic, you could save collecting souls until key moments where you know you can get enough souls to use the super power thing on the worst encounter possible. But I don't really know these levels well enough to do that. Plus, I kind of need the souls for health because they give you 1 health point each, and you can keep collecting them after you've maxed out your health at 100. So it keeps going up past 100. You can only, when you find a healing items are pretty rare, but when you do, they will increase your health only up to 100. They'll give you a lot of health if you're below 100, but really you just need to collect the souls to get above 100. Ooh, the same thing with the armor. You don't really collect armor except for you find a big vest and it gives you the full 100 armor. That's pretty much all you have, as far as I know. God, I love the animations the enemies make when you kill them. All the particle effects, all the bits of corpse flying everywhere. The blood splatter is also really good too. And then they have either bits of their corpse or their weapons flying everywhere. Those guys drop their axes and their scythes and everything. And it's just like, it's just great. It really is a great game as far as the animations go. And you can be pretty trigger happy too, because we still only have 1 weapon really. 1 additional weapon to our standard painkiller. And we're kind of low on ammo for it, so I guess we'll switch back to the painkiller and use that a little bit here. I may not continue to play on this difficulty, because like I said, I don't claim to be an expert in this game. I only played it for the first time recently. So I might be rushing this LP a little bit, but just the fact that I'm doing okay with it. It's not a hard game, but it's just like I don't know those secondary levels, the ones that you only unlock when you're playing on this difficulty. I don't know those levels, and I'm assuming they're going to be tough levels, so I might not want to play them. We'll see when I get to the next level, though, because I don't know if it's going to be something I'm going to be atrociously opposed to or anything. It's going to be just a terrible level. But we'll see. I know when you actually get to level 2, I should be keeping my terminology consistent here with level and stage, but when I get to level 2, after completing the first 5 stages of level 1, there we go, that's when it's going to get a lot harder because, like I said, the enemies are going to use guns, so it's going to be harder to dodge their ranged attacks. So I went ahead and picked up that armor vest that was up there on that windowsill. I think that's everything we can do down here. Next checkpoint is through here. This yellow glowing sphere right here, that's a healing item, and like I said, it only heals us up to 100. I don't think it'll give us a full 100 if we're really low, but I think it'll only heal, maybe it heals like 25 or 50, I'm not sure. But if we're less than 100, it'll only heal 100. These enemies are really annoying here, the ones that carry around the staves, because they emit like an essence from their staves that causes us to be slowed down. There's other ones later in the game that have like a red mist that will cause us to just take damage from it. But I think these guys are more annoying because if you're slowed down, then all the enemies are going to crowd around you, and that's when you're going to take a lot of damage. See, look at these guys. They just keeled over arbitrarily, like nothing happened to them. And the other guys in the corner there, they're just dying for no reason. I don't understand it. One thing I did see is that I guess if an object hits an enemy, sometimes it can kill them, and we're typically not affected by that. Like, here we go, I can use the super power thing again and kill all these guys. But sometimes if there's an enemy that throws a frickin' boulder at you, or if the exploding barrel goes off in your face, yeah, it's gonna hurt you. But most of the time, flying debris does not damage you. But I guess it can damage the enemies from what I'm seeing, because sometimes I'll break like a coffin or something, and the lid of it will go fly into an enemy and kill them. I think that's what happens anyway, but I do know that some of these enemies do seem to be dropping dead for no reason, which definitely confuses me. Oh, come on. And then when I need him to blow up from the explosion, he doesn't. There's an example of what I was talking about there, how it slows you down. But, like any game, kind of like maybe Left 4 Dead, let's say, where enemies only run at you and use melee attacks, it's only when they're all crowding around you and you can't move when you're really vulnerable. And it may seem like you can take a lot of damage. This applies for both the games that I just mentioned. But when they start crowding around you, you're taking multiple hits simultaneously, that's when you're really going to die quickly. So that's where the challenge comes from in this game as well. Until we get to the enemies that actually have range attacks. I think some of these guys of this enemy type, the cultists or whatever they are, can throw their axes as well sometimes. Not this particular variety, I don't think, but later on they can. Trying to make sure to collect everything, but I want to go pretty fast too, because I guess we there's no time limit, but I guess we get a special bonus or whatever for completing it within a certain time. Not entirely sure. It's just fun to move fast in this game, though, with the easy bunny hopping, as you can clearly see. Yeah, what I was saying about the aim assist, that's really going to show with the next weapon we get, but even now, it's like if you see me missing with the shotgun, it's not missing by very much, it's just that the spread only goes so far. It's not going to spread like all the way across the screen and hit everything. It's only going to hit what you pointed directly at, which I think is nice, and it definitely makes it feel more genuine, old-school FPS-ish. This is what I was talking about the enemies crowding around you. This is a really sticky situation here, and I could have easily died there. When they slow you down like that, and then you get more of them coming at you, and they drop their stabs right in front of you, which means that that you're going to continue to stay slowed, and the other enemies are going to keep hitting you. Okay, so that's the end of the first 2 levels. And I'll see if I have to change the difficulty next time.